Now we got why PlayStation ads were so strange and successful.
This unhinged era of marketing from 1995 to 2011. We'll look at a handful of advertisements and what they did for the PlayStation brand, and even talk about their inspirations. We'll answer questions like, why were PlayStation ads so bizarre? Who were the creatives behind these? And how did one ad...
Chat, I only had 2 PlayStations in my lifetime. PS2 and PS5. I jumped from the PS2 to the PS5. Well, I didn't jump from it, but like, you know what I mean. I had the PS2, and my dad threw it away. Literally threw it away. My sister saw him throwing it away in the bin, and I was into that. And then my 20th birthday, 21, I think, 2021, my sister got me a P5.
Save the PlayStation brand. Video game advertisements in the early 90s were filled with frantic footage of characters, but Sony wanted to change that. From Nintendo advertisements featuring the likes of Mario to Sega and Sonic, one thing was certain. Their target demographic was kids. In an attempt to corner kids and families, the mainstays of the console industry turned a blind eye to entire untapped markets, young adults. And Sony realized this early in the development of the PlayStation 1. Originally a joint venture with Nintendo, Sony created a CD-ROM attachment for the SNES, allowing the console to accept both SNES cartridges and CDs. This new entertainment system was dubbed the PlayStation with a space. However, less than 24 hours
never heard of this.
Announced a collaboration, Nintendo would go back on its contract. Nintendo went behind Sony's back and asked Philips instead, one of Sony's
Nintendo devious, bro. They backdoored them niggas.
Key rivals, to develop CD technology under the condition that Nintendo would have total control over their licenses on all Philips produced machines, standing in stark contrast to Sony's original claims, a majority share of CD-ROM profits, and publishing rights to all CD content. This led to the green light for the development of the PlayStation 1 as a standalone console. It initially
I just built a budgeting app with Base 44. Nina just
built what's your favorite PlayStation? What's your favorite PlayStation?
Faced resistance from Sony's CEO, Norio Oga, when Ken Kutaragi, the father of the PlayStation, first pitched the idea a couple of years prior. Another key part of Sony's strategy came in their approach to games.
We knew that in order to be successful, we had to capture the hearts and minds of the developers and the publishers equally.
This especially rang true with their call to arms in Japan, where they rounded up nearly 250 developers and publishers to appear on the new console. It paid off, and in turn, the December 3rd, 1994 release broke new ground for the company. In less than 3 months, the PlayStation sold more than 1 million units in Japan, becoming an instant hit. With home turf in good hands, Sony set their sights on the West.
That's us.
Sony had to make a splash with the PlayStation, and what they pulled forever ingrained itself into the minds of gamers. The marketing strategy for the PS1 was clearly defined from the beginning, and their goal was to appeal to
I think I had a PS1 to be honest.
An older, more sophisticated audience.
No, I didn't have a PS1.
This came about thanks to the PlayStation marketing team. They realized that everyone wanted to be 19. If you're 12, you want to be 19, and if you're 25, you want to be 19 again. As a result, 19 was
the fact, bro.
Target community.
Now I feel like nowadays everyone wants to be 21.
Vacation.
Everyone wants to be 21. No one wants to be 19 because I feel like in the whole world, you're basically free in the whole world.
A voice for marketing strategy as a whole.
That's
only
what people
made
are
more
saying.
Apparent by Sony's choice to purposely withhold prominent Sony branding from the PlayStation rollout to create a clear separation from the mature Sony brand and their new, younger PlayStation. The initial "You Are Not Red E" tagline was created for this sole reason, and this red E motif continued with Enos. Enos or Enos Lives were found across PlayStation advertisements and media, a play on the pronunciation of Sony but in reverse. However, there were added layers to this phrase. The red letter E, understood as ready, of Enos was ultimately deciphered as Ready 9th of September, a reference to the PlayStation's unique US release date.
Yeah, I had one of these.
Of September 9th, 1995. Also included in the marketing rollout using a simple $99.95 to stir excitement. All of these initiatives were a byproduct of
So it's basically $100 for PS1.
PlayStation recognizing gamers wanted to work harder at deciphering messages. Or more simply, not all gamers were children or wanted to be treated
Bro, not everyone just wants to scroll on TikTok and
nothing captures this philosophy better than the Double Life ad for the PlayStation 1. Released in 1999, 5 years after the initial release of the PlayStation, the advertisement sought to position PlayStation as more than just a gaming console, but as a gateway to new experiences and identities. The advertising agency behind this campaign was TBWA. With offices across the globe, they paved the way for the PlayStation's distinct style, and their history would only grow with PlayStation under their belt. The Double Life ad took a harsh departure from traditional video game advertisements, exchanging the hectic, colorful, and gameplay-centric adverts for something with more depth.
For years I've lived a double life. In the day I do my job, I ride the bus, roll up my sleeves with the hoi polloi. But at night, I live a life of exhilaration.
Of missed heartbeats and adrenaline.
And if the truth...
For years, I have lived...
What's that old ass man doing with that girl?
A double life echoed in the minds of viewers, featuring a cast of 19 different actors representing all who dare to play, an achievement in diversity even for today's standards, all of whom contribute to the unforgettable monologue detailing the memories they've made thanks to video games, created by James Sinclair, Ed Morris, Trevor Beatty, and directed by the late Frank Budgeon. The four, along with the rest of their team, went on to change gaming advertising forever. Double Life was released to widespread...
Bro, I know half of the people in this chat don't even know this, bro. But I wasn't even born when this shit was out.
Critical acclaim and became the most awarded ad campaign of 1999 and 2000.
But I was born in 2004. This shit was 1999. I'm not that old.
It marked a paradigm shift in the way gaming advertises itself, shedding the notion that gaming was reserved for boys, when in reality it was for everyone to enjoy and experience. TBWA continued this masterclass in marketing with the release of the mental wealth ad in the same year. Unlike Double Life, which showcased a diverse cast, this ad featured
bro, her eyes look like... You telling me this isn't Jason the Ween?
Just one actress.
This is Jason the Ween.
A Scottish girl with an enlarged cranium monologuing about mental wealth. Directed by Chris Cunningham, known for his work with Aphex Twin, the ad became a cultural sensation. Though actress Fiona McLean was horrified at the digital alteration of her face, the unsettling result made waves and even graced the cover of
I thought this was her presets, bro. This ain't presets. I thought she was born like this.
For 1999. This marked PlayStation's success in positioning itself not just as a console, but as a lifestyle brand. Double Life and mental wealth are important in understanding how PlayStation's marketing became so bizarre. All this playful marketing succeeded in attracting a more adult audience and set the tone for future PlayStation marketing. Subversive, witty, and at times dark. Without Double Life, PlayStation wouldn't have the necessary brand positioning to venture into more unconventional strategies. Without mental wealth, PlayStation wouldn't have the proper cultural capital to veer into the surreal. And that is exactly where
I feel like they need to bring these type of ads back.
Sony took PlayStation with the release of the PS2.
Oh, that sound is so nostalgic, bro.
The PlayStation 2 was the best-selling console of all time, and part of that success was thanks to its groundbreaking marketing. Sony was riding high on the release and success of the original PlayStation.
Bro, what are some of your favorite PS2 games, bro? Bro, mine was like the OG FIFA and WWE, bro. A PS2 WWE hits
the masses and forever changed the perception of gaming. They were looking to do it all over again, and who better to hire than the same people who pulled it off the first time, TBWA. The overarching theme for the marketing push was this concept of the third place, a place beyond home or work, and in the case of the PS2, a place entirely up to your imagination. The whole point and the response we want to get from the ad, said Darren Carter, the marketing director of SCE Europe, is that it's an excited fear, a new unknown, but during it, you think you're going to like it. This was was especially telling when TBWA hired the creative mastermind behind the surreal Twin Peaks, David Lynch. As a result, one of the most iconic PS2 ads was born, Welcome to the Third Place. He brought the eclectic and eerie visuals he was known for to the world of PlayStation, from doppelgangers, industrial soundscapes, and even head injuries. Just to wrap things up with a duck-headed man saying, "Welcome to the third place," who was actually voiced by Lynch himself. There were several other commercials under the Third Place campaign, most of which were wrongly attributed to David Lynch. In this article by Simon XIX, they examined which ads were long thought to be directed by Lynch himself, namely Bambi, Dog, Overboard, Jimmy Dynamite, The Wolfman, and Blind. While all of these commercials push boundaries in the field of video game marketing, nothing would cause a stir like their print counterpart.
We're completely stuffed.
In business, problems are inevitable. It's how you solve them that sets you apart. So no matter the size of your business, chances are we've been there too.
Let's get stuck in then.
Aussie Broadband, that's the actual Aussie way.
From the hills of the Tamar Valley, taste the difference of pure, all-natural goodness. Deliciously thick and creamy yogurt. Real fruit with a serving of cream from Tamar Valley Dairy. The creamery, the better.
PlayStation's recognizable marketing continued with its print and magazine push. Unlike their video counterparts, these adverts had
this hard chat.
Had one opportunity to
PlayStation was cooking,
and they were exceptional at it. From human veins in the shapes of PlayStation buttons to human eyes with veins in the shapes, or for those interested in the suggestive, the woman who was taking her shirt off, condoms in the triangle, square, circle, and X variant, and this one. The folks at TBWA knew how to get our attention and make us remember. But PlayStation's history of eccentric and controversial print ads can be traced back to this one quote: "It's more powerful than God." A 1995 postcard passed around the Glastonbury Festival.
That's a crazy. Nothing's more powerful than God.
And if you take a close look, it actually had perforations, each segment serving as a cardboard filter for smoking.
Nothing's
and looking back, such a quote
God,
seems somewhat tame compared to what they put out next. Adverts filled with far more adult and frankly controversial content. Sony's decision to position PlayStation in this fashion is best explained by this quote: "By utilizing the punk, industrial, and dystopian arrangements set forth by various underground club movements in films like Fight Club and Blade, Sony's PlayStation captured a sense of fear and unease in their print adverts. These images targeted an older audience. They let gamers know that no matter your age, gaming can now be part of everyone's everyday life, as it collides with even the most underground street movement."
But how did it get shit like this done, bro?
But this was nothing new for PlayStation. During the release of the PlayStation 1, Sony contacted clubs across the UK and proposed setting up rooms with PlayStations for people to play with guides even made detailing the strange phenomenon. PS2's print adverts further positioned itself as the mature option for would-be gamers, crossing into adult territory most gaming companies had yet to touch. It's interesting to view the marketing push for the PS2 through the lens of transformative 90s films and design movements from the era. The simple fact that PlayStation was willing to take inspiration from films centered around underground fight rings, a heroin addict, and the nature of free will illustrates that Sony is willing to view gaming as a dynamic and adult medium. Clear references to these films are found in some of PS2 prints. This one in particular showcases a Morpheus lookalike holding a blue pill in one hand and 4 shapely red pills in the other. But the inspiration for PS2 marketing extends beyond film references, but uses entire design movements as its muse. Going back to the RAM CPU article, they identified movements like late 90s club culture, corporate grunge, and Gen X soft club as key reference points for the PS2's visual identity. And at a glance, the visuals are uncanny, from muted greenish hues reminiscent of the Matrix to distorted corporate aesthetics. PS2's visual language was rooted in counterculture. TBWA was again tasked with tackling the marketing around the new PlayStation 3, but this time, they went too far, especially considering the situation the PS3 found itself in. Numerous delays, the most expensive in its category,
But that's just like
and its
the
release lagging an entire
This is just like GTA, bro.
Year compared
They're
to its
delaying it
rival,
like
the
crazy.
Xbox 360. Suffice to say, the console was not in good standing. In response, Play Beyond was the campaign they came up with, aimed to showcase the unparalleled power and potential of the PS3. A commercial break interrupted Game 4 of the 2006 World Series. 60 million viewers were greeted with an unsettling baby doll, opposite a floating PS3. There were other versions as well, one with a Rubik's Cube and one with eggs and crows. For many, this was the first time they'd see the PS3 rollout. Some looked back on these adverts fondly, likening them to eccentric PlayStation ads of the past. The imagery from these was also translated.
Wait, what did we get for the PS5? This was it? This was that, yeah. Hold up.
Let me tell you what bugs me about human endeavour. I've never been the human in question. Have you? Mankind went to the moon. I don't even know where Grimsby is. Forget progress by proxy. Land on your own moon. It's no longer about what they can achieve out there in your behalf, but what we can experience up here in our own time. It's called mental wealth.
This was a good one, bro. They don't do stuff like this anymore.
Into print form and used for further explanations regarding the PS3's hardware. Moving on, Sony decided to pull back on their more artistic ads in favor of being more gaming oriented. As a result, Universe of Entertainment was their next line of ads, continuing the Play Beyond tagline.
We just saw that they don't even do ads like this anymore.
Gaming and Blu-ray capabilities. But what came next was something nobody expected. An ad for MLB09 The Show unveiled a fictional game director by the name of...
Well, Dustin, PlayStation gamers demand the most realistic baseball game ever, so we're just going to keep it as is. It's called Integrity.
Kevin Butler, played by Jerry Lambert. The MLB ad was so well received that it resulted in the famous Dear PlayStation series of adverts, featuring Kevin Butler in different settings, answering different questions PlayStation users may have.
I got a tip that you were making the PS3 $299. Confirm or deny?
$2.99? Bernie, you can't believe everything you read on the internet. That's how World War I got started.
What?
PlayStation's new spokesperson coincided with a $100 price drop of the original PS3 to $299, and the release of a smaller, sleeker PS3 Slim.
Bro, people were literally scamming for that PS5, bro. Like, if you go on eBay, people will literally put a photo of a PS5, and then in the description that says just a photo, bro. Niggas will actually believe it.
Same price. The combination.
Bro, I might try that for the PS6, bro. Method might be patched, but we'll try it.
The cheaper entry price made the PS3 far more palatable to the average consumer. This drastic shift in tone was accompanied by a change in tagline from Play Beyond to It Only Does Everything. A clear departure from emphasizing the PS3's potential to what it can actually do, something many consumers were still completely unaware of. But this newfound success was not created by TBWA. Due to the mixed reception of the PS3's launch marketing, Sony switched to rival agency Deutsch LA. Not only did they bring back PlayStation into the limelight, but they also helped the brand when it needed it most. To good fortune, the PlayStation will be turned on its head on April 17th, 2011. Over the course of 2 days, unknown hackers breached Sony's network, compromising the information of more than 77 million users. Sony was forced to deactivate its PlayStation network, resulting in an outage lasting for 24 days, the longest in the service's lifespan. Things were only made worse due to Sony's week-long gap between first identifying the breach and notifying users of their compromised details.
Oh, they better get paid for that shit, bro.
As one of the largest breaches of credit card information and cost the company a staggering $171 million. Apologies followed shortly after, both in a dedicated press conference and at E3.
Which brings me to the audience that I'm most interested in addressing, and those are our consumers. You are the lifeblood of the company. Without you, there is no PlayStation. And I want to apologize both personally and on behalf of the company for any anxiety that we've caused you.
In light of this disaster, Sony continued their partnership with Deutsche LA and released Michael, an ad featuring some of PlayStation's most iconic characters, all in praise of the true hero who gives meaning to their existence, the player.
Michael! When the Templars murdered my family, when the whole bloody world's gone crazy. Hellcat, Sector 9, to Michael! For all he does. For all of us. To Michael!
The advertisement is a tribute to a real PlayStation fan. His name was Michael J. Mammaril, a 22-year-old who sadly passed away.
Never mind, I don't know Michael.
The very same Michael.
Never mind, chat. Take that back.
Too, for he was also a huge fan. The heartfelt nature of the ad won over the internet and helped
2023 is still one of the best commercials ever made.
Cover PlayStation's brand image, but some even calling it the best video game.
This is definitely the best video game commercial of all time. Long
Live Play was the accompanying tagline and can be considered the last great marketing push for the PlayStation 3.
Well, now that stuff's washed.
Looking back at PlayStation's catalog of commercials reminds us of the importance of marketing and branding, especially in an emerging industry like gaming. From being a newcomer in the industry to being the first to sell 100 million units, the PlayStation 1 PlayStation marketing serves as a reminder that knowing one's audience is a key to success, which only makes me wonder, how will Sony sell us on the PlayStation 6?